Phoenix magic, just like anything else. If you haven't looked at other videos and you're wondering what kind of spin I'm going to put on this, if you're looking at this through the eye of modern paganism, you're only going to think that they could possibly exist in the spirit realm. If you're looking at it through the eye of ancient paganism, which is what I teach, then you leave open the opportunity, that you leave open that door, that they might actually, could possibly exist in the physical realm as well. Ancient paganism is, it brings back the knowledge and the wisdom that died out with our ancestors. So everything I'm going to tell you today about the Phoenix, just like anything else, is going to be, through the eyes of our ancestors. It's looking at it with a lot of added wisdom and knowledge that you don't get to see through that narrow field of vision in modern paganism. So I'm going to separate myth from fact, or myth from truth, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more just in general about what the Phoenix is, what it does, what its magic and meaning is, and that sort of thing. So the parts that people have retained as truth has been that, yes, it typically is some kind of bird-like creature, although I won't rule out that it could potentially sometimes be something else. But I think it's typically bird, and then that it of course has the ability to rise from the dead. People like to put way too much emphasis on the fire part of it. Whilst it could potentially have the element of fire in its magic, it doesn't necessarily need to have that to be a Phoenix. All it really needs, it could have some other element in it, for all I know. It could have ice or something. All it really needs is to be a Phoenix, is that ability to bring itself back from the dead. And this is where they really start to muddy the water. How and where this kind of line is drawn. Some people say that it's like an infinite thing. They just keep, on and on. Other people say that it's, how many times they can die. It goes by the times that they die. It's not, something that can just have infinite with no end. Okay. I'll say that, and then I'll say the specific of it is it doesn't go by how many times you die. It goes by like a timeline. It goes by like a clock. It goes by the time you are meant to die. So all of us have a time that we're meant to die. And hypothetically speaking, just hypothetically, if I was meant to live for 55 years, 32 days, 47 hours, 62 minutes, and 47 seconds, I don't know, then whenever I hit that time, that's when I'm going to die. And even for a Phoenix, when they get owed, they can't, that one body, that particular body cannot rebirth again. When anything gets that owed and that frail, and that's their time to die. Even if they're not that owed, but it's their time to die. The universe decides when we die, and basically whatever we're meant to do in said current life, we've all had a lot of past lives, whatever we're meant to do, whatever we're meant to be, there's only a certain amount of time we have, and then we die. And then at that point, just like anything else, the Phoenix can get reborn, but it's not that body. It's not that body anymore. They have to get reborn just like anything else, through maternity, through a mom and a dad, through, an actual maternal rebirth, where they're reborn now as a little baby thing. All the other times that they die, where they're dying prematurely and it's not their time to die yet, and they're resurrecting from the dead. They don't resurrect as a baby, and they don't resurrect with no memory. They resurrect. Say I died, 3 days later I resurrect. I'm the same age I was 3 days ago, basically. I mean, I want to try and say it's not a little tiny infant. I'm still the same age as I was the day that I died. I have the same years on me as the day I died, as 2-3 days later when I rise again. So that's what Phenix does. That's, say something mortally wounds it, has immense healing and mending magic that allows it to mend even from a mortal wound that causes even death. And so they're able to mend from that, come back from that, and then they do that however many times they need to. So whether it be, that I die, say, 3 times before I'm actually meant to die, 3 premature times, then I'll come back 3. But if I die 1,000 times, then I'll come back 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's not how many times. It doesn't go by that as much as it goes by. Majority of what it goes by is the time. It's like a clock. When that clock runs out, that is when you can't come back from the dead with that body. That body's gone, and at that point, that ends the Phoenix's life. And so anytime they come back from life, come back from the dead, it's not, many different lives, because they're aging each time they come back from the dead. They're the same age they were before they died. They're not being reborn into little tiny babies until they get old and die of old age, and then that's one life. All of that is one life. So how many lives it's had doesn't mean how many times it's died. How many lives it's had means that entire life until they finally die and don't come back to life. When they don't come back to life, then that ends one life. Okay? Then when they're reborn through maternity as a little baby, then that begins the new life. Just like anything else. It goes against the laws of nature. It goes against the laws of the universe to say that this old decrepit body could just continuously, with no limit, just continuously be able to either revive itself or make its own baby version of itself through, say, a pile of ash or something. An egg emerges. It's not something that old and that decrepit. Physical bodies have a clock. Even a phoenix's physical body has a clock. So yeah, it could have died and come back to life 1,000 times. But when that clock runs out, it needs a new body. So it goes to the spirit realm. Doesn't usually stay there for long. They usually don't waste much time in the spirit realm. Then they come back, and then they're reborn with the mother and father, not through their own ashes. So otherwise, like I said, it just nothing, no one physical body can live that long. Everything has a time limit. Nothing can live forever in one physical body. A spirit, a soul in the spiritual realm might have the ability to live forever, but in the physical realm, our physical bodies have a clock. That's why we look certain ages, because as we age, our body ages. It's that aging process. And to a certain point, You get soloed, you don't have the strength to rebirth yourself anyway. You wouldn't even have the strength to do that anyway. So what I find interesting about the Phoenix is that it needs absolutely nothing, no one. It's got immense amount of healing, mending properties in its magic, in its own blood, that it does not need any assistance. Anytime it comes back to life, you know, if it dies prematurely, comes back to life, it's not like some other spirit is reviving it. It's not like there's some kind of sacrificial, ritual, crazy ceremony that's reviving it. It's doing it on its own, with nothing, with no help, with nothing but itself. And that alone is so immense. I cannot possibly think of any greater form of healing magic than the Phoenix. Because to be able to do that with no help, no sacrificial, nothing, no, if it's not sacrifice, no spirit reviving it from the spirit realm, just itself, just its own magic. I mean, that is so immense, I can't even completely wrap my head around it. But that is the power and the magic of Phoenix. So hopefully I didn't confuse you. There's all these different, again, people love to simplify what the Phoenix is and dull it down, and it's complex, it's complicated, it goes by a lot of laws and rules, and I do a terrible job trying to explain because it is quite complicated. So I hope that I didn't confuse anyone or say something in such a way that it did not allow what I was trying to convey. I literally cannot say it any better than that. And on top of that, I've got a bit of a just natural issue explaining things, and so when you put that together with something complicated, it never goes very well. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you know what I meant. And stay tuned, we'll be doing a lot of other creatures and things. We'll also be doing a lot of other different playlists and different topics, and I apologize, it is taking a while because this is a new channel. But eventually we'll get all different kinds of topics up for you, and we'll break them down just like we're doing with this topic.